Hey yo, what's happening, wrestling savages? Lock the doors and turn the volume up to 11 because you just stormed the battlefield at VK Punk Wrestling, the future and soon to be recognized undisputed throne of pure pro wrestling insanity. I'm your chaos conductor. It's your boy, the bad guy, Vin C Punk, ready to drag you through a straight up war zone of vicious suplexes, killer mic work, and that unfiltered fire that makes wrestling the most adrenaline junkie sport on the damn planet. Tonight we're diving headfirst into Monday Night Raw with our legendary Yay or Boo Verdict Fest. And brother, this episode's got more heat than a Hell in a Cell roof spot. This channel isn't some casual watch. It's the beating electric heart of the VK Punk Wrestling Army. And you're strapped in right beside me. If your blood's pumping like you just kicked out of a tombstone at 2, then hammer that button, obliterate the subscribe, and smash the bell so you never miss a single explosion. If you want to turn the dial past maximum, come find me, Vin C Punk, and VK Punk Wrestling on X, Facebook, and TikTok for the unfiltered clips, nuclear takes, and locker room lunacy that will keep your week lit. VK Punk Wrestling, we the ones for wrestling content. Before we get into this massive rage of raw carnage, let's give a massive shout out to the absolute legends over at CapGo Championship Belts. The crew crafting title gold so elite it would make legends sweat. These aren't your average straps, they're handcrafted works of art from spot on WWE replicas to one of a kind customs that tell your story louder than a WrestleMania pyro blast. Their mastermind, Abdul, the man's got macho man level precision and flair with every rivet, every plate is just pure fire. They even built the killer VK Punk Wrestling Championship belt. We rock it, and it looks straight fire too. They've got a full merch lineup as well. Tees, hoodies, masks, all dripping with that main event drip. Head over to capgointernational.com, scroll through the gallery, and slap or type Vin's got your back in the contact form or on your when you contact him, and you'll get the red carpet VIP hookup. Capco gear hits like a top rope elbow. Go get yours and level up now. All right, so let's get to the action. This week's episode of Monday Night Raw is in Dussledorf, Germany. I'm sorry, easy for me to say. And kicks off with a recap of last week's show. It was followed by your standard weekly appointment of watching multiple wrestlers walk into the arena who have matches scheduled for this afternoon's show. The newly crowned women tag team champions, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, make their way to the ring to speak to the WWE Universe. Ripley welcomes everyone to Monday Night Rio. Ripley says after weeks of battling the Kabuki Warriors, they have finally put them in their place. She puts over the fact that they are now the new champions, and the crowd chants, "You deserve it." Io Sky says Asuka and Kairi Sane have no respect, but she and Ripley beat some respect into them. Sky says no one is ready for Rio. I don't know how you feel about that name. I don't really like it. Ripley's seemingly is about to declare an open challenge, but is interrupted by Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Yowza. Morgan says she's just out there to congratulate them on winning the titles and tells the crowd to cheer for them. Morgan says her only problem is that those titles belong to her, declaring that she never lost her title. Liv says that she could do things the easy way and hand them over, or the hard way where she has to take them back. So everyone wants to be WWE Tag Team Champions because they are interrupted by Bayley and Lyra. Bayley says she knows Liv didn't lose the women's tag team titles, but Roxanne did. Bayley knows she beat Roxanne the other week, and she believes that they deserve the title shot. Ripley says that they are laying down a challenge for basically anyone, and everyone starts bickering, and the Kabuki Warriors come in from the crowd and pull Rhea and Io out of the ring. Eventually, all four teams start brawling, which ended in Ripley and Sky standing tall. Let's give a rating for this, right? We have to go yay. Is that one a better yay? Or is this one a better yay? Yeah, that one's a little better. All right. All the women have been doing so spectacular lately, and this accumulation of it is the best in the division for sure. The accumulation of performers that were in this segment. All these women are genuinely the best, and to see them all in the same ring was fire. So is AJ Styles ready for Gunther? AJ's backstage with Jackie Remen. Styles says that when he get into this business, it was all about respect. Styles says he and John Cena were never really on the same page, but they agreed on respect. AJ says Gunther has disrespected Cena week after week, and he's going to pay for it. Styles declares that he is going to make Gunther tap out and calls him a bitch. I'm going to make you tap out like a little bitch. Rating, this gets a boo. Uh, you know, as good as this was, this tapping out like a bitch thing is getting old quickly. Would love to see the story be about anything else. I mean, AJ always gets a yay because he's AJ, but this tapping like a bitch thing is pathetic. So backstage is where we go in the Judgment Day clubhouse. Liv Morgan is annoyed at Finn Balor for playing a video game and not paying attention to what they did. Morgan mentions Balor's promo last week about making things happen and questions if it was all talk. Morgan says they are making things happen and he should do the same. Liv leaves and Perez tells Balor she has a point and leaves as well. Balor says they just need to wait and see what he does next. So, I mean, as far as this goes, this gets a yeah. Love Liv, love Finn, amazing tandem, and real life partners. If you weren't aware, Liv pushing Finn to do something is a cool gimmick and idea. Good plot, and Finn kind of getting irritated, and the whole "you just wait." Can't really wait to see where this unfolds. Do not believe Balor will actually win any championships, however. But maybe that's what starts his solo run away from the Judgment Day. Reintroduction to the Demon, maybe? Who knows? So next we had Javon Evans versus Bravo Americano with Los Americanos. This match was okay, pretty exciting. Both men performed wildly, and there were good maneuvers. And in the ring, the finish of the match saw Javon Evans hit Bravo Americano with the OG cutter to score the pinfall victory. So Javon Evans wins. After the match, Los Americanos try to attack Evans, but he escapes with his impressive acrobatic skills, making the trio look very silly. Fun opening contest, however. I feel like the Americano gimmick has run its course, and perhaps Chad Gable's return will be able to kickstart it and make it interesting again, but they aren't planning on going in that direction. Perhaps it's time to move on. The rating, we'll give it a yay, a weak yay, or whatever. And a boo. The match itself was good, even though I have no idea why it was, like just why it was, period. Other than the fact that they needed the new guy to beat up on somebody and look good. But Tyler Bate should have been, it shouldn't have been Tyler Bate. Like, what they've been doing with the new people coming up to the main roster and putting them against some of these established guys who really shouldn't be taking losses, like Ray Phoenix and, Tyler Bate deserves more, and Dunn and Kaiser too. This Americano stuff is getting weird, and they were only on here to take a pin for a new guy. Not the greatest, so, it's not as bad as Trick coming out and stomping on Phoenix, which maybe Trick should have beat Phoenix, but maybe don't put Phoenix in that position. Like, put somebody else there. Good in-ring action for that match, though. Adam Pearce is not in the mood tonight, apparently. There's a confrontation backstage between General Manager Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman. Pearce makes it clear that if Braun Breaker shows up tonight looking for trouble, just send him away because he's not in the mood. Heyman says he will deliver the message to Breaker if he decides to arrive at the venue today. Adam Pearce warns Paul Heyman to keep Braun Breaker and his bad intentions away from Raw tonight. I am not giving this little backstage segment a rating. It wasn't really impactful enough. The World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk makes his way to the ring to speak to the WWE Universe. Punk says he's never going to get tired of being the world champion, and he plans on holding the title forever. Punk says he knows things can change and anything can happen, and points to what happened to Cody Rhodes on SmackDown. The road to WrestleMania goes through me. And CM Punk believes that with the people behind him, he could do the impossible. Punk puts over the upcoming Rumble and Elimination Chamber, declaring the road to WrestleMania goes through him. Punk says Braun Breaker and the Vision are in his rearview mirror, and he looks forward to finding out who his next challenger is going to be, which this brings out Finn Balor, which is a great, who says He's not waiting for the Rumble or the Chamber, and he's not asking for a handout. Balor mentions that when Punk won the title, he mentioned his name as someone he wanted to face, so here he is. Punk says he did mention him, but that was months ago and wants to know where he's been. He says some weeks I think you're just shining Liv Morgan's shoes, and Punk makes fun of the other things that Balor has done of late with the Judgment Day and questions if he's going to be facing Finn Balor or Finn Balor and the Judgment Day. CM Punk makes it clear that he just went through that with the Vision and that he's ready for that. Punk says he's a man of his word, wants to be a fighting champion, says they could do the match tonight. A big world title match does not get set for tonight. It gets set for next week because Balor says it's all about timing and Punk won't have to worry about Dom or JD because he will be alone. Balor says he wants the match next week in his backyard in Belfast, Ireland. Punk apologizes to the fans of Germany who didn't get to see him compete, but he does accept. So it's Punk and Balor on for next week. So, of course, this gets a yay. Yeah, I really don't like that one. Anyway, so as I said, I love Finn. Excuse me. Him fighting Punk in Ireland seems cool, but he isn't going to win, is he? Finn's not going to win. I want better for Balor. He is so great, totally underrated in WWE, but the best still, and him and Punk should be a good match. I'm looking for. Ooh, oh my goodness, that's a bad thing to happen right in the middle of a video. We get a video package hyping up tonight's match between Gunther and AJ Styles. But then we cut into a match that is the Kabuki Warriors versus the Judgment Day versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. This match had a lot of good stuff in it all the way around, but the finish of the match saw Liv Morgan hit Oblivion on Kairi Sane to score the pinfall victory for her team. The winners are Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez of the Judgment Day. So, of course, this gets a yay. This match was a ton of fun. All 6 women were going for it, and the crowd ate up every move and near fall throughout the match. It makes sense to see Liv get a shot at the titles. She never lost, so I like this decision. So we hear from the WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, Becky Lynch, next, who is less than appetized with Maxine Dupree, who is already getting another shot at the Intercontinental Championship. The match will take place at next week's Raw in Belfast. Lynch may be a heel at the moment, but I think it would be a real uphill battle to expect the WWE Universe to boo Becky next week when they are in Ireland. Becky Lynch, she sends a message to Maxine ahead of their rematch in Ireland. I'm not giving any yay or boo to that. Byron Saxton is backstage, interviewed Javon Evans during a commercial break. This has to be a rib at this point after what happened last week. Because we sure didn't see it, right? And we didn't see the thing. It seems like every time Javon Evans gets a segment, not a match, but a segment, they bury it in the commercial time. Evan reflects on everything that has happened to him at this point and calls everything a blessing. From NXT to signing with Raw, Evans says he's not going to let anyone down. Jackie Redmond is backstage next with the Alpha Academy, and Maxine Dupri says she's not going to cry about this because winning the title proved that she belongs and believes Otis and Akira Tozawa are also set for great things. Dupri says Becky Lynch had to cheat to beat her last week, so next week she's going to put Lynch in the ankle lock and break her ankle. I do not think Maxine should be doing this ankle lock. But anyway, Maxine tells Otis and Tozawa that she finally won gold and she started believing herself, and she believes that the rest of the Alpha Academy could do the same. She then sends a message to Becky Lynch ahead of their rematch for next week. I'm not giving any of this any yay or boos. It's really inconsequential stuff at the moment. So Michael Cole interviews Raquel Rodriguez, easy for me to say, at the entranceway. Cole says that what Raquel did last week to Stephanie Vaquer took him by surprise, and he wants to know why she did it. Raquel says she remembers being told to be patient and she would get a shot at the title, but she's tired of waiting. Rodriguez says people could feel sorry for Vekor, but she'll keep coming after her until she gets what she wants. This brings out Stephanie, of course, in the walking boots still, even after all the added damage that Raquel did last week, surrounded by referees and officials to keep the two women apart. But of course, that doesn't work, right? Because Vekor comes out and she's not gonna let they show you everything. But then Raquel attacks Vekor again, and she whips the injured leg with the title belt. I mean, I have to give it a yay because Raquel really should be at the top of the card. I mean, they were pushing her hard for a long time, and it looked like she was headed straight to the top. But then she got injured, and ever since she's been back from injury, she's just kind of been the muscle and the heater for the Judgment Day. Um, but she should definitely get back on top. Backstage, Jey Uso is on his phone and gets greeted by the Alpha Academy, who make it clear they want a shot at the World Tag Team titles. Jay didn't want to do it, but once he realized they were serious, he was down to give them a title shot. Aldous and Tozawa approach them and say they'll. And Jimmy says Jay says he'll speak to Jimmy and get back to them. Yay! A fun little backstage segment. We'll go ahead. Okay. So next we had Bronson Reed and Austin Theory against Dragon Lee and Penta. It was a pretty good match. The finish of the match saw Braun Breaker getting involved, spearing Dragon Lee at ringside, leading to the disqualification. Of course, the winners being Penta and Dragon Lee. After the match, Adam Pearce comes to ringside and demands that Braun Breaker leaves. As they are arguing, Bronson Reed hits Penta with a tsunami. Pearce gets in the ring and screams at Reed as Breaker proceeds to hit Lee with another spear. Adam Pearce gets in Breaker's face and Braun physically assaults Pearce, tossing him in the corner turnbuckle and screaming in his face. Question what he's going to do to him as Paul Heyman tries to pull him off and cool things down. Pearce is livid and flipping out, and the Vision goes backstage. So Breaker loses it on Adam Pearce. This gets a boo. The match itself was fine, I guess. The aftermath is really the fulcrum of the problem. Adam Pearce needs to grow a spine and either suspend or fire Braun Breaker, because if he doesn't, he basically tells the entire Raw roster that they could just do whatever they want to him. And speak of the devil, backstage, Adam Pearce catches up to Braun Breaker and does exactly what I said he should do and indefinitely suspends him. Paul Heyman says Pearce made a big mistake and brings up the fact that he put his hand on Braun Breaker first. Adam Pearce tells Braun Breaker that he's suspended indefinitely. Paul Heyman... some of this stuff is doubled up. My bad. But anyway, this one definitely gets a yay. And I want to see where it goes. A very weird vignette plays, a bunch of celebrities pitching wrestlers, but they want to see at WrestleMania to Triple H. Gunther is backstage with Jackie Redmond. Gunther says AJ Styles is the one who has been disrespected to him, and the ring general says, but the ring says AJ should not worry about what he has done to Cena. He should be worried about what will happen after the bell rings. Gunther sends a message to AJ Styles ahead of their match, and then we actually get the match. The match was really good. But the finish of the match saw Gunther tap out to AJ's Craft Crusher, but the referee didn't see it. So Styles let go thinking he had won, and the referee said the match must continue. Gunther hits Styles with a low blow behind the referee's back and then hits him with the powerbomb for the pinfall victory. The winner, of course, is Gunther. Rating, this gets a yay and a boo. Boom. Two great performers putting on a great performance, but the story here is not great. It's rather stupid. Gunther makes a big deal about making Cena tap like a bitch, which in itself is getting old. But then only to make him tap out on the blind side. This is stupid. The ending, kind of dumb too. Gunther celebrates his victory in the aisle, declaring he's the greatest wrestler in the company. As WWE goes off air, in the review for the whole show, I feel like this episode of Raw was definitely better than last week. I don't think it was as good as Friday Night SmackDown, but it was definitely a step in the right direction. No show should feel like a throwaway episode, and that should be WWE's goal. It didn't take away from the match, in my opinion. The finish was okay-ish. So yay for Raw in general. Right? There was more good than bad on this week's episode of Raw from Dussledorf. Finn Balor stuff is exciting. The Judgment Day in total are lined up for belts. Raquel versus Vakor, and Liv and Rocks for the tag team, and Finn for Punks. And Dom is already AAA and Intercontinental. They could have all the gold here soon. Probably not, but it is possible. The Gunther AJ story isn't over, and Gunther will probably be the one to retire him later in the year. The women's division is packed with talent, and the roster's got some rookies that are looking to take over. The vision is starting to become like how the like NWO Light, but more aggressive somehow, or maybe just Braun is. Either way, good show, and looking towards SmackDown. All right, you beautiful wrestling heathens. You all power up the VK Punk Wrestling Rebellion, and we're grateful you rode this wild wave with us. Before we drop the mic and let the echoes hit, turn it up. Drop your most unhinged Raw predictions, wildest Rumble ideas, or just pure wrestling passion in the comments. Make this section louder than a glass shattering Stone Cold entrance. Demolish your subscribe button if you're not already locked in. Drag your crew into the revolution and stalk us on X and Instagram and TikTok and Facebook for the unscripted heat. I am your boy, the bad guy, Vin C Punk, and this is VK Punk Wrestling. We run the bingo, and we're going straight to the moon. VK Punk Wrestling, we the ones for wrestling content. Stay savage, stay unbreakable, chin up, tits out, and deuces, ooses. Have a good one.